スポーツイラストレイテッド4月号の表紙を飾った大谷翔平選手。撮影とインタビューはニューヨークで行われたようです。インタビュアーはスポーツイラストレイテッドのトム・バードゥッチ氏で、その様子をMLBネットワークの番組で語ってくれました。
Shohei Otani going to the Dodgers, record-breaking contract, and here's the Sports Illustrated baseball preview. Traditionally the big thing, money can wait, winning can't. Deferred money, but not deferred performance. Tom Verducci spoke at length with Shohei Otani, and we welcome him in now. Tom, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's still one of the great pieces of real estate in the sports world, Brian. The cover of SI, and who better than Shohei? And this was really the first and only sit-down interview that he has done since he signed that contract with the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just wondering, like in the past, who was on that cover of the preview? Like they're collectibles in Cooperstown. Harmon Killebrew, Hank Aaron, maybe a Yogi Berra. I'm sure they're all out there. So tell us about this then. What new things did you hear from Shohei? Again, he's pretty reclusive. He can get married and nobody even knows it until he announces it. So what did you hear him say? What struck you?
Well, the overriding factor for me was, listen, I've been around Cal Ripken a lot, and he was always the most intentional player I've ever been around. Everything that he does is purposeful. Shohei even goes beyond Cal Ripken level. So I was getting into a lot of things of how the process works for Shohei. We talked about when he donated gloves to every elementary school in Japan. That's just crazy. I said, where did that idea come from? He said, listen, I signed a big deal with New Balance, an endorsement deal with the shoe company, and I wanted to give back to the fans. And those kids remind me of what I was at that age, and I wanted them all to have a glove to start just the game of baseball, as basic as it gets, is playing catch. He also told me a great story, which I think sort of informs who he is today. When he was about 9 years old, his dad was coaching him in the Japanese equivalent of Little League through 9, 10, 11, 12. And his dad bought a notebook, and his dad would write in the notebook some observations about a game or a training regimen that day with Shohei, what he saw, what he liked, what he didn't like. And then he'd give the notebook to Shohei, and then Shohei would put his own thoughts in that notebook, and it would go back and forth. This went on for 3 or 4 years, the father and son essentially having a game of literary catch with this notebook. And again, that's where I think you see Shohei now is so specific about everything that he does. I asked him what he loves best about baseball. And he said, it's a great question, but it's not really specific about baseball. I love the process of setting a goal and then going to achieve it. Even if it's, a weight I need to lift, or when he was in Little League, he wanted to go to the national championship. He wrote that inside his hat. He's extremely goal-oriented. And the last thing, Brian, is the thing that really struck me is his humility. It should not be a surprise to anybody. We're so used to this day and age of athletes in America here. I want the most money. I want the most respect. With Shohei, it's all a little bit different here. The idea of deferring $68 of $70 million per year was his idea. And it truly was, I want the Dodgers to be able to have a team around me to spend the money on other players. We're all thinking it must be a Trojan horse and some work around the CBT. It's something the agent came up with. No, it was Shohei literally saying, I don't need all this. I'd rather have the team able to spend on other players. One of the most really unselfish acts. It's a unique contract for, of course, very unique player.
There's so much there. I know, Tom, when he got married, like when he announced that he had gotten married, I was like, how is this under the radar in this day and age, right, where everything is supposed to be out there and social media knows everything, and yet this is kind of DiMaggio-esque, isn't it? That it's like, no, actually, I do this on my own time. I don't have to announce it until I'm ready. How is that possible? Tell me about, like, does he think about his global image, or is he just very private and he lets it happen?
A little bit of both. He's certainly aware of his image. I mean, when they had the press conference to introduce him as a Dodger, more people streamed that press conference than watched any World Series game in the history of the World Series. I mean, it was crazy the amount of people that follow him either online or on any platform. He is aware of that. But it's interesting. We were talking about his dog, right? It's probably the most famous dog on the planet these days, Decoy. And he said, you know what? And he said this to me. He said, I cannot live freely outside. So I spend a lot of time inside. And he specifically said the second Tommy John procedure, it actually wasn't a Tommy John, it was more of a brace procedure. But the second elbow surgery, he said, the rehab went a lot faster because he had his dog Decoy with him, just that companionship. And then later on, we find out he's married as well. But he said, he literally said, I cannot live freely outside. Anywhere he goes, it's the Beatles, it's Michael Jordan, it's LeBron, you name it.
So wait, a glove for every elementary school kid in Japan. It's 125 million people in the country. Like, I don't know, they're not all elementary school age, but did he really do that?
It's not every kid, literally, but every school got 3 gloves, 2 right-handed gloves,
all
1 left-handed glove. So 20,000 elementary schools, so 60,000 gloves. And I was watching a video with him. It's the first time he saw this video of these kids with this glove. When they broke it out of the box, it's like they got their hands on the Holy Grail. It meant so much to these kids knowing that it was Shohei, and specifically, he wanted the kids to enjoy this part of his success.
That's a tremendous gesture.
大谷選手がスポーツイラストレイテッドの表紙を飾るのは今回で4回目となります。表紙の表情からはその強い眼差しで移籍初年度のプレーに対する心意気が伝わってきます。愛犬のデコイも一緒でニューヨークということは全米記者協会のタイミングでの撮影だったのかもしれません。大谷選手の原点ともなっている少年時代の話やグローブを配った話など、改めて大谷選手の人間性の素晴らしさが伝わり、バードゥッチ氏やホストのブライアン・ケニー氏もそれを感じている様子も分かりました。韓国での開幕戦から始まる今シーズン、活躍を期待します。